the wild winds call. Jasper's walking, taking pictures of it all. Boots on the ground, heart in the sky, following the blazes, just a rambling guy. Through the valleys, over the hills, chasing that freedom, feeling the thrill. With every sunrise, he's finding his way, living the dream, one step a day. Trail named Jasper, walking on through, Bruce Trail bound with a camera view, hiking the ridges, chasing the light. Like and subscribe.
The sign says dead end. Story of my life. But that's okay, because we're going the other way. My trusty little van parked right there for a couple of days. It's dark, 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 so you won't be able to see much again right now. Okay. Today is October the 20th. It's Monday. It's somewhere around 6:30ish a.m. We're leaving on a 2-day, 1-night hike. Oh yeah. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Well, it's still reasonably dark inside the forest. However, it is brightening as much as a really thick morning gray sky can lighten. But it is getting a little lighter, and I hope you see the trail ahead of us. So yes, it's a 2-day hike with a 1-night wild camp. We're going to try out yet another shelter. Yes, we are. Just lately, we've had this kind of series going where we're trying out different tents. We tried out the Underwood Aggregator, a single person, single trekking pole tent, Amazon, $75 with tax and delivered and the whole bit. Then we tried out the Lanshan 2, $323 with tax and including expedited shipping. Would have been $305 with the free shipping. Again, that one was a double wall, double trekking pole tent, 2-person. The Underwood was a single wall tent. Today we're trying out a first generation Durston, yes, Durston, quite sought after, X Mid one man, double wall, trekking pole tent requiring 2 trekking poles. And we have some experience with the Durston X Mid, because for a period of time we did have the 2nd generation X Mid a couple of years ago, I guess. And we did do half of the Bruce Trail, or 450 kilometers with that particular shelter, plus a few other things. At the time I wasn't overly impressed with that shelter then, but this one is a 1st generation, and I picked it up. It's used, of course, but it's in great condition, and I did pick it up at a very reasonable price. So I thought, you know what, let me just take a look at the Durston, a re-look. Let me take a second look at the Durston X Mid 1. So that's what we're trying out today. It's a lightweight tent at around 27 ounces. Again, single person, 2 trekking poles, and double wall. It's a poly, a silk poly, which I kind of like. Doesn't sag as much, if at all, depending on how much water it kind of is exposed to. It doesn't absorb the water like the nylon particular products do. And so yeah, that's what we're doing over this next 2 days. We're trying out the Durston X Mid 1 first generation. So we'll see how that kind of works out for us. It's a nice kind of dab olive green color, so it's nicely kind of, it's a nice little stealth tent, and does have the 2 large vestibules, so it does have a fairly large footprint, but not as big as the Lanchan 2 for sure. Lanchan 2 I liked a lot. I was just concerned that it was too big, but it had so much going for it. It is a tent I would buy again, but I did return it back to Amazon. Oh, excuse me. As normal, nose running. Yeah. So the conditions, well, it's the 20th of October, so you know what, it's getting cooler. When we started this morning, it was 9 degrees Celsius. Really strong winds. We're protected here in the forest, but in the exposed areas, those winds were really strong. Not sure what the actual wind chill factor would be, but it was getting down there a little bit. Rain. It's rained on and off pretty much for the last 3 days, I think. It's noticeable on trail. Got muddy sections, and it's forecast to continue to rain today and tomorrow, but on and off. And I think today we do have maybe some periods of sunshine, maybe. Hey, as always, I'm so glad you guys are out here with me, because it promises to be an interesting, and it is a challenging hike. I did this hike that we're doing, which is to the Metcalf Rock. The last time I did this was about 4 months ago, and 4 months ago I really found it quite challenging, to be honest with you. It is a trail we've done several times over the years with a camp at Metcalf Rock. We don't have to carry camp water there. There's spring, beautiful spring and creek there, so you got a piped spring, and so you don't even have to filter your water there. Okay, let's just keep hiking for now. The first view of the day. This particular trail, there's a lot of ups and downs, and we came down the escarpment on the far over there, and then we came up the escarpment here. We're going to go down into the valley there, and then we're going to go up and across the top over there. Yeah. Oh, troubled sky today. Oh yeah, definitely a troubled sky. That's okay. That's okay. We're out here, and that's the main thing. Oh yeah. Second view of the day. Look at those colors below us. Oh yeah. Yeah. Wow. Take a look. We're at, I believe this is Georgian Peaks ski hills. Nottawasaga Bay. Brightening way on the horizon, but I'm in full rain gear with my rain cap on now. It's just stopped raining, but it has been raining pretty good. Secondly, my choice of footwear today was really poor. The footwear I'm using is good. It's my Ultra Olympus, but these are so well worn. I was just trying to get the last few miles out of them. And because of the rain, we haven't had rain. We've had rain for the last 3 days, but before that, it was just a while before we had any rain, and the trail is super, super, super slippy. Already had kind of one, I'll show you the mud, one good fall. I don't know how many slips. So totally wrong footwear for this particular hike over this next 2 days. So that is going to add hiking time, or extend the hiking day, just because it's definitely going to be a slower pace. Not that it's fast at the best of times, but it's going to be a slower pace now. Break time, going to have a Kit Kat, I think, and some electrolyte water. And then we'll just carry on. You may remember this. You may recall from past videos. But down the trail, not too far from now, there's a nice little spot to have a coffee and I guess somewhat of a second breakfast, early lunch, half of my sandwich. I did pack out a sandwich again from home this morning, and this time it is Black Forest ham with romaine lettuce and sharp cheddar. Yes. So maybe half of that, and a bar and a coffee. And I'll have the other half later on at a break time. Yeah, it's where those little fairy pools are. There's a bench there. So I'll show you when we get there. Anyhow, so the hike goes well, and we're starting to get that kind of broken sunshine that they said we would get for a couple hours today. Anyhow, we're starting to get that now, so that's nice. Just kind of brings up a person's mood. There's a little sunshine. Oh yeah. So yeah, it's a 2-day, 1-night wild camp hike. It's around 54, 55 kilometers total. I'm not sure what the elevation gain is on this hike for the total, but I am recording it with my Gaia app, so I will know exactly what the elevation gain was at the end of the 2-day hike. It's not huge, but I don't know, a few thousand feet maybe. We'll see, we'll see. So far everything goes well. I'm trying to keep this video, the last few videos I've done on these kind of tent tryouts and these 2-day, 1-night hikes, I've kind of done it into a 2-video production. I want to keep this one to a 1-video production, so there'll be a little less talking. Look, blue sky over there for sure. That's nice. Yeah. Anyhow, just checking in, and let's just keep going to our kind of break spot, coffee spot, shall we? A little stream with a little fairy pool. There's one right there. I call it a fairy pool. It's not really a real fairy pool, but it's fine. My half sandwich, my coffee is made. I just had a nice chit chat with a charming lady, a retired school teacher from Collingwood, and she's out doing a day hike today. She's doing the Margaret Paul Trail, which is a blue blaze and white blaze. So she makes it a loop, which is great. I'm not sure how long that is, but hey, she's having a blast. So are we. With lunchtime over, I'm back moving down the trail. A few little things to note about the Durston X Mid 1. So, first of all, Dan Durston, the creator, engineer, designer, and so on of the Durston tents. In 2015, Dan was a successful through hiker of the PCT, class of 15. He's hiked many other trails. Both him and his wife did I believe, a yo-yo of the Great Continental Divide, which is the Canadian part, if you will. Anyhow, he's got lots of experience, but after he'd done the PCT, or so the story goes, he decided to create a tent that would be perfect for through hikers. Weight, durability, ease of use, ease of setup, and so on were all kind of fundamental thoughts in Dan's mind. And so he created the Durston tents. And the one we're trying out today, tonight, is the Durston X Mid 1 first generation. It is the tent that started it all. Then went on to make his Durston 2-man tent, again, trekking pole tent. And then he came out with the second and third generations of the X Mid 1. Then he came out with the X Mid, the dome tent, the Durston Dome tent. I know it's a 2-man tent. I don't know if there's a 1-man tent in the Durston Dome. I don't know. And he also has a line of backpacks, the Kakwa 55 litre backpack is very popular. Teamed up with both either the X Mid 1, the X Mid 2, whatever, the dome tent, whatever. Definitely good kit. There's no doubt about it. And one little thing about trekking pole tents that I actually like is the fact that, in all truthfulness, they are far more, significantly more battle ready. What I mean by that is they'll handle higher winds. When you get those trekking poles situated correctly in the peaks or wherever you're supposed to of the actual tent, and anchored onto the ground and strapped down with all the guy lines and so on, the thing is like solid. Unlike a freestanding frame tent, pole tent if you will, and especially the lighter ones, such as my such as my Tiger Wall, Big Agnes Tiger Wall. It had a huge oh, we have people. Well, hello there. Good day.
Good morning.
How you guys doing?
Good, you? All right.
Good, thank you.
Good.
So anyhow, my Tiger Wall, it had the two poles at one. It was called a Y-shaped pole, and a Y-shaped pole is designed for being ultralight, and it is strong, don't get me wrong, but just nowhere near as strong as a trekking pole tent. The one I had before that, the Copper Spur, it is not a Y-shaped pole. It's got 4 corners to it. It is a freestanding tent. Stronger, will take more wind, if you will, than, say, the Tiger Wall, which is a semi-freestanding only because it doesn't have the 4 corners as far as the poles are concerned. Just a little bit. I probably made that sound more confusing than it was, but anyhow, just a point of interest. The downside of a trekking pole tent is often, not always, I guess half and half maybe, a lot of trekking pole tents are single wall. I'm not a lover of single wall, only because of the condensation issues, but that's the only reason. Quite often single walls are done, again, weight saving. Take Z-Packs for instance, which use the Cuban fiber or the Dyneema composite fiber, DCF. A lot of those are single wall tents, or most of those are. Anyhow, oh yeah, and Durston also has a Dyneema composite line of tents also. So a little bit more about the tents. And the Durston is widely sought after. I mean widely. There's always, well, not always, but for instance, I did look online at dandurston.com or .ca, whatever, and on his website, you know, he's got all his stuff for sale. But the X Mid 1, for instance, they're taking orders now for a end of October to mid-November shipping date. So they're always in demand. And that's because they're lightweight, they're durable, they're well designed, and they're battleproof as far as they will take an awful lot of hammer out there. If you saw my series of videos in UK this year, gale force winds all the time. It was a concern. And sometimes on my tiger wall, even though I'd got as sheltered as I possibly could, the frame on that tiger wall was bending and buckling a lot. Oh yeah. Okay. Let us just keep doing what we came to do. Now, this corn right here, to me, it looks like it's ready to go to market. I don't know if that's corn, if that's like the peaches and cream. Is it human consumption corn? Is it feed? Is it grain? Does it get ground up for corn flour? I don't know the difference. I don't know if there is. Well, I suppose there is a difference, but I don't know how to tell. But I think it's ready. Oh, there's still some green through there. Yeah, maybe a little bit longer than before market time or harvest. So, wow, the sun is shining. It's very windy. We're sheltered right here, but when it opens up, it's very windy. That wind is quite cold. It's about, I'm going to say, maybe 10 degrees Celsius at best. So I'm still wearing, of course, my shorts, my rain pants, a t-shirt, and my Mountain Warehouse ISO Dry red rain shell. I'm wearing my middies. Not that I need them, but this morning, or earlier in the day, even though I do have rainproof mitts or rainproof shells to go over them, they did get damp. I didn't use the shells, and they did get a little bit damp to wet. So we'll say, yeah, damp to wet. So I actually just put them back on now, and they seem dry, but I thought the sunshine, the breeze, will just dry them all off nicely. So in the morning, we'll be starting early, of course. It's supposed to rain pretty much all day tomorrow, but we'll start off with dry gloves. Yeah. By the way, thank you, Dan. Yes, thank you, Dan, from Midland, Ontario. I was just having my break there, and I was just looking at our email and the channel and so on, and answered a couple of comments. And Dan, he had contributed to our channel. Now, Dan is a long supporter, a long member, a long viewer, a long time subscriber, and a long time supporter of our channel. And Dan, you are very much appreciated. And just a reminder to everyone out there, if you'd like to support our channel, of course, a like works, a click on the subscribe works. And if you are getting value out of our videos and you choose to send a financial support to our channel, which really does go a long way in funding and supporting and helping us bring more content and better content to you on a more regular basis. Anyhow, the easiest way to support our channel financially is through our what we call Buy Me a Coffee program. And we looked at different ways, as I've mentioned so many times before, but the easiest way is just e-transfer your gift, your donation to our channel to trailnamejasper@gmail.com. That is the easiest way to support our channel. And again, we appreciate everyone, every single person that is a member, a subscriber of our channel. We appreciate you all. Now, the trail behind me, as we descend, this is the edge, if you will, right here of Metcalf Rock. But if we descend, if you can see below, and I'm going to try and show you this, right down there, where somewhere there, that is the tenting area. There's cleared spots, fire pits, logs to sit on, etc. Oh yeah. The Durston X Mid one. First generation. Set up, and my bedroll is inside. Again, this is a one-person shelter. Huge vestibules. Just take a look at the space there. It's amazing. I'll show you once we get inside, but as you can see, it's a one-person. So you have basically, I'll show you, I'll get down here and show you. So here's my bedroll. It's a one-person tent, and on this side I have whatever space that is across there. It's about 6 inches or so. I got lots of space at the headroom. I got lots of space at the footroom, and I've got lots of height when I sit in it. So pretty very easy to put up. You just stake out the 4 corners, insert the trekking poles, put it up, and then stake out the doors. You can stake out here along the edges. It has guy out loops right there. I could add, I'm going to put some shock cord on there because I don't have any on there right now. So yeah, there it is. I've got it low to the ground. It's going to be a cold night. It has 2 vents. One here and one just like this on the other side. But this side where my head is, I have it a little lower to the ground. I have this side a little higher. It's going to be a chilly night. And I thought, you know what, that's probably the best way to set up tonight anyhow, because it's already getting quite chilly out, and it's only like 5 o'clock or 5:30 or something, and it's already getting quite chilly. Okay, dinner time. Okay, so it got a little dark, but I got my headlight on. I am in my bunk. Not for the night. I am going to have to climb out in about an hour or so before I go to sleep for a final pee. But anyhow, that's just besides the point. You can see how much space I've got here in the vestibule. And I've got exactly the same at the other side. I don't know if you can see that through the screen. It's got pockets up here. Vents are open. It's going to be a cold night. Oh, well, not cold. Cool. Let's call it cool. Okay. So I'll just put this light. Maybe you can see me. Maybe not. I don't know. But anyhow, I'm in my bunk and I'm comfortable. This is just fine. It's really comfortable. It's small, obviously. It's a one-man tent. We've had these discussions before between a one-man tent and a two-man tent, and, you know, what is right for me. And I've always gone with the two-man tent, but under the right circumstances, this particular tent is great. And it's coming in at 27 ounces. It's perfect. And it's a very, very solid, stormproof kind of tent. Okay. So you know what? In the aims of keeping or trying to keep this all into one video, I will talk to you guys in the morning. Tomorrow is going to be a colder day. We're going to have no sunshine, and we're going to have more rain tomorrow, and some couple of hours of heavy rain. So that's going to be an issue, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. Yeah, you guys have a great night. I will. It's only about 6:30 right now, but I'm just going to watch an hour or so of my Pluto or YouTube or something like that. and as I say, have a final washroom break and then just tuck in for the night. 4 a.m. comes early, and I'll be waking up, hopefully, to my oatmeal and my coffee, but we'll see. Have a good night, everybody. As always, a final check of camp. Make sure we didn't leave anything behind, especially trash. There's our fire pit, but we didn't have a fire. Okay. Woo! Dark out there. But the sky is just, it reminds me of a place in Iceland that I've been to a few times called Jökulsárlón. It's a black beach, and it's studded with just small icebergs, and from a distance it's just like stars shining in the sky. It's just amazing, and that's exactly what the sky this morning looks like. Well, you're not going to see much right now, so you know what, good morning everybody. Anyhow, I'm going to talk to you soon when it just gets a little lighter. Okay, good to know. Bruce Trail. That might seem irrelevant, but in the fall, and again, I know you don't see anything, but in the fall, with all the leaves so thick, and the short days, dark mornings, yeah, it can be, even though the Bruce Trail is the by far best organized and blaze trail that I have ever hiked. Even with that, you can still get confused. So when you see a sign like that plainly says Bruce Trail, you think, oh, thank you. Now that is what I call a confidence mark. And speaking of blazes, well, can you see it? I don't know if you can see it, and I can't see what you're seeing. Oh boy, well, I tried to show you a blaze on a post. Okay. Wow. Pre-dawn. It's beautiful out there. Finally, it's getting light enough to record a little bit of the trail, which is absolutely stunning with these fall colors. Oh yeah, and with a lot of the trees, I'll just lift you up a little bit, show you, now naked. And then the lower level trees, full of beautiful color. The trail, just a golden brown, and of course green. It's all just, oh, and because it's all wet from rain, the colors are saturated, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So the Durston X Mid 1. Well, okay. Few things to know about the Durston X Mid 1. First of all, the one we camped in last night was the first generation. That is the generation that won all the awards. Yes, it is. That is the award-winning X Mid 1. Later versions, version 2 and version 3. Now, I've had that before. I believe I had the version 3. It could have been the 2, but either way, was significantly different in its construction and so on than the original X Mid 1, or the X Mid first generation. I wasn't happy with my X Mid, and I ended up just selling it. After about 3 months of use, I found it was of poor construction. The mesh inner was, the bathtub, or the mesh inner, was very, very, very weak. You could poke your finger through it almost, which I actually did, just taking hold of the zippers and stuff, you would make holes in the mesh. Granted, it was a little bit wider by a couple of inches, maybe a couple of inches longer. But overall, oh, and it was definitely lighter. I think it was about 5 ounces lighter than the first generation. But that 5 ounces gave up a lot of durability, protection, and so on. The tent I used last night was, well, I mean, it looks exactly the same as the second and third generation, of course. But I believe, and again, this is my 2 cents worth, I believe it's a better tent than the second and third generation. The first generation, again, is the one that won all the awards. And at 27 ounces, it's very, very ultralight. Okay, space. How did I find the space? Well, okay, sure, it's a one-man tent and it's confined. It's not a two-man tent. I notice it more because I have always been a two-man tent person. I've always enjoyed the extra space. However, it's extremely comfortable inside. As we know, we've got the huge vestibules on both sides. I'm 6'2", although the doctor said I've shrunk to about 6'1.5" now. However, lots and lots of space lengthwise for me. I could stretch right out, and in the middle of the night I did, because I have to stretch kind of really long, if you will, with the hip replacement. It just relieves pressure, or it seems to. Width-wise, you know what? I could put my 20-inch sleep pad down and have about 6 inches of spare space on the side. Now, if you have a wide or extra wide sleeping pad, that's going to take up that space. But again, really significant, sufficient space for a one-man tent. It has 2 pockets along the right-hand top seam. Small pockets, but I put glasses in there, you put your phone in there, whatever you want in there. There's 2 of them, and they're quite long. They go the full length almost. So you put things in there, it's got storage. And again, the vestibules, huge. Zippers, everything about it, solid. Stitching, workmanship, excellent. So, would I recommend the X Mid one, the original version? Yes, I would. There's no doubt about that. For the right person, if you're a person that is into the one-man tent, then it's an absolutely great one-man tent. It's the drab olive green, so it is reasonably stealthy. Not as stealthy as the Lanshan, the one that we had in the khaki brown, but still reasonably stealthy. Certainly not the white of the Tiger Wool. So it's a good all-around tent. Now, on Durston's website, the X Mid one today is coming in, I believe, at 377 Canadian dollars plus the tax. That's going to take you to about 4 1/4 or something. I don't believe Durston does free shipping, and I don't know how much they charge for shipping. Well, let's just say it's 40 or 50 bucks for shipping. Then you're looking at around, give or take a few bucks, 475 Canadian dollars for the tent. How does that compare then to the $75 Underwood aggregator that we tested just a couple of hikes back? Well, if you were on a budget, a tight budget, and again, you're looking for a one-man tent, stealthy, the Underwood could possibly be the tent for you, with nothing wrong with the tent. Definitely not a Durston, but nothing wrong with the tent. It's a single wall. So my choice between the two is definitely the Durston. But if you're on a budget, then you wouldn't really go too far wrong with the Underwood aggregator. You wouldn't. Just keep in mind, You may have to do a little bit of extra seam sealing, but also keep in mind some of the high-end expensive tents that we buy today come unseam sealed, and you have to do that yourself anyhow. Like, for instance, we talked about that with the Lanshan. If you buy it from Lanshan, you have to seam seal it. You buy it from Nightcat, you don't. It's already done. Just saying. Yeah. So that's kind of my final thought. It was warm. I had no problems in there. Again, your body warms up the inner tent when you're all buttoned down. And it being a single person tent, lesser space to warm up from body heat than a two-man tent. So I was quite comfortable all night long. No problems whatsoever staying warm. My sleeping bag was my Patagonia 850 fill power, long. It's a tired back sleeping bag, but it's a good sleeping bag. And that was matched with a Thermarest Neoware ultralight sleeping pad, regular size, which has an R value of 4.2, which is good. And I used my lightweight summer liner, which is a synthetic liner, but it does, you know, give an extra kind of degree or two of warmth. You can also use the Reactor sleeping bag liner. There's three. There's a light, medium, and heavy. I have the medium, and that gives, I think, about 4 degrees Celsius of extra warmth in that sleeping bag. So all those things to think about. But anyhow, very happy with the X Mid. The bottom line is, am I going to keep it? Because I recently purchased that. Or am I going to sell it? Well, there's one more tent to try out first, which is another two-man tent. I have always been, and probably still am, a two-man tent person. When you're buttoned down for a day because the weather is so bad, a one-man tent, even with the large vestibules, is restrictive compared to a two-man tent. Although you really don't want to be in that situation anyhow, because neither tent is really comfortable. You know, you're not going to watch a big screen TV or whatever. I don't know. I am, as I'd mentioned before, looking at the Nemo Hornet. That's a tent that really, really interests me. So we're gonna keep reviewing for sure till we finish this program. This program essentially had 4 tents that I wanted to review. And again, just to recap, we reviewed the Underwood Aggregator Trekker one-man tent. We reviewed the Lanshan 2 two-man tent. We've now looked and reviewed the Durston X Mid one-man tent, first generation. So the last one to look at is the Nemo Hornet two-man tent, light at 2.5 pounds, which is 2 ounces lighter than my Tiger Wall was. Anyhow, we're going to keep hiking, and if I think of anything else to tell you about the X Mid 1, I will. But the bottom line was, do I recommend it? I certainly do, for the right person. If you're a one-man tent person and you know you're okay with around $450, $475 Canadian, sure, it's a great tent. There's no doubt about that.